Good morning, everybody and anybody. This is the Versys 1000. I've actually spent more time on the twisties on this bike than I did on the 650. One would think that looking at them, that they would be relatively closely comparable. But I would have to say, as far as seating, other than seating position, they're quite different actually. This one has so much more power. The 650 really isn't even close when you're comparing power. Now, as always, this is just my opinion, and I kind of have to just apply things to myself. But if I was going to do a lot more highway riding, you know, Ben, this is Ben's bike, and he does, it's 40-something miles a day to get to work on freeways. If I was Ben, I would definitely opt for this over the 650. I think that's where you're going to find, other than preference, I think that's where you're going to find the practicality of this bike is dependent on how much highway you do. As far as buzzing around goes, I think that the 650 is kind of just it's just kind of a peppy little bike. This is not a peppy little bike. This is like, as Ben would say, this is a real motorcycle. Not to say that the 650 is not a real motorcycle. It is in my book anyway. But this is just, there's just so much more substance to this bike. If I was going to do more highway, this would probably be my choice. If I was doing more of like bebopping around town and doing errands, I would probably go for the 650. This one definitely has a much larger feeling than the 650. It just feels kind of all around bigger, which isn't good or bad, it's just a preference. But the nice thing about this is it doesn't feel too big. Like riding on the concourse, this doesn't feel as big as the concourse. It feels, I mean, punchy as all get out, just like the concourse was. Like almost like infinite power, but it doesn't have that really wide front end that you kind of get from sitting in the cockpit. When you're sitting on a concourse, you just kind of have this really wide look. This bike feels moderately large. Everything seems to be like thought out and compact on both of these bikes. They have a really good size from the cockpit. You feel like you're sitting in them and not on them. This being a bigger bike, it takes a little bit more effort to get it through the corners. But what I really like about this is you don't feel like you have a ton of bike in front of you. You feel like you basically just have like the right amount of bike in front of you. It's not like you have too much. It's not like you don't have anything. I know that when I ride on a naked bike, something that doesn't have any windshield, any fairing or anything, your instruments are just kind of mounted on your handlebars. I feel like there's nothing in front of you. This has just an excellent balance of, you've got your nice instruments up there, but you don't have so much information that there's like this giant, huge bike and dash in front of you. It's really well balanced. The mirrors are really nice. They allow you to see behind you and not just your shoulders. But it's very impressive. I'm impressed. This is just a really well balanced machine. I like it. So we are going to continue this ride. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoy the rest of your day. We will see you next time. One, two, three. 1, 2, 3. Go! Go. Clap. Like, what are you doing? Is that how you guys synchronize yours? All this jumping and hooting and hollering? Are we sure we don't want to take any of these chickens?